Armed Forces of Liberia. Other members of the Commander of Troop Staff includes Second Lieutenant Basfor Smallwood, Logistic Command, Armed Forces of Liberia. Second Lieutenant Willett Nanu SK, Medical Command. Lieutenant Stephen Wa Kamara, Liberia Coast Guard, and Major Fulton Kwayon, Operational Officer, Armed Forces Training Command, Armed Forces of Liberia. The adjutant for today's parade, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is Captain Aloysius Kwe, Operation Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. The Sergeant Major of the parade is Command Sergeant Major Freddie Victor Reeves of the 23rd Infantry Brigade. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the adjutant has just called sound attention. This indicates troops' preparedness for the commencement of the parade. Generally, soldiers have one primary task: to be trained and ready to fight and win their nation's wars. This is achieved through tough, realistic, and challenging training that ensures effectiveness, proficiency, and professionalism in battle. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sound the adjutant call indicates that the adjutant is about to form the parade and execute commander's intent. Marching gallantly to center the parade, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the adjutant for today's parade, Captain Aloysius Kwe, Operation Officer, 1st Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the troops are now leaving from the ready line to the final line for the execution of today's parade. At this time, the adjutant has given the order, dress right, and this is meant to align the troops. So, as you are seeing, the commanders of the various units are now acting on the order, dress right, in alignment of their troops. Once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dress right allows the commanders of the various units to allow their troops. For distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the adjutant for today's parade had just ordered the quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the marching of the colors. The flag is more than a symbol. The flag is the embodiment of our government, its people, ideals, and value. Members of the color party include Staff Sergeant Leonard Morgan. He stands in as a rifleman. Staff Sergeant Besa Mayango. He bears the Liberian flag. Sergeant Demosthenes M. Gross Jr. He bears the AFF flag. Sergeant Mercetia bears the Liberian National Police flag. Officer Bwaka Ojaliba bears the Liberian Immigration Service flag. And Staff Sergeant Augustine Flomo stands in as a rifleman. For more than a century, the Star and Stripes is the banner under which Liberians have lived, fought, and died. The flag is more than the symbol. The flag is the embodiment of our government, its people, ideals, and value. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the colors are now posted. You may please be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sign off is a ceremonial military tradition that has been handed down for decades. On the command sign off, it is customary for the band to march across the front of the troops, then counter march across the front of the troops and halt in its original position. This tradition originated in the crusade when troops offering themselves for holy sacrifice were drawn up into a long formation and the band countermarched before those choosing to serve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there goes the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band performing the other sign off, performing the command sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, sign off is a ceremonial military tradition that has been handed down for decades. On the command sign off, it is customary for the band to march across the front of the troops, then counter march across the front of the troops and halt in its original positions. This tradition originated in the crusade when troops offering themselves for holy sacrifice were drawn up into a long formation, and the band countermarched before those choosing to serve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there goes the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band. The Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the arrival of the Ambassador of the United States of America, accredited near Monrovia. Ladies and gentlemen, before you is the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band, executing the command, "Stand off." Stand off is a ceremonial military tradition that has been handed down for decades. On the command, "Stand off," it is customary for the band to march across the front of the troops, then counter-march across the front of the troops and halt in its original position. This tradition originated in the crusade when troops offering themselves for holy sacrifice were drawn up into a long formation, and the band counter-marched before those choosing to serve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there goes the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce Major General retired Honorable Daniel Ziankan, the military advisor to the President of the Republic of Liberia. Since the enactment of legislation on 26 January 1957, tradition has it that every year, February 11, we celebrate in honor of the gallant men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia in recognition of their bravery and meritorious services, highlighting the outstanding contributions they make to Liberia and acknowledging their sacrificial works for this nation and the people of Liberia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Sarah Beslow Yanti. The adjutant is now receiving the report. Ladies and gentlemen, in the military, the command received the report is synonymous to acquiring the status of your troops. Accountability in the military is one fundamental necessity that takes place before and after every military action. The adjutant has just reported to the commander of troops that all are present and accounted for, and the adjutant now resumes his post and boxes the staff. This signifies that the adjutant has turned the command over to the commander of troops. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the Speaker of the House, Honorable Richard Cohn. To be a soldier is to represent the best of our nation. It is to embody selfless service, to strive in the hardship and sacrifice expected of an elite warrior class. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to announce the arrival of the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Brigadier General Theophilus Anto Dana. To be a soldier is to represent the best of our nation. It is to embody selfless service, to strive in the hardship and sacrifice expected of an elite warrior class, to work towards the sound of guns, and to ably show the heritage created by those who have gone before us. Each year, February 11, we celebrate in honor of the gallant men and women of the armed forces of Liberia in recognition of their bravery and meritorious services, highlighting the outstanding contributions they make to Liberia and acknowledging their sacrificial works for this nation and the people of Liberia. To be a soldier is to represent the best of our nation. It is to embody selfless service, to strive in the hardship and sacrifice expected of an elite warrior class, to work towards the sons of guns, and to ably show the heritage created by those who have gone before us. Generally, soldiers have one primary task: to be trained and ready to fight and win their nation's wars. This is achieved through tough, realistic, challenging training that ensures effectiveness, proficiency, and professionalism in battle. The ambassador of Cote d'Ivoire. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the arrival of the Senate Pro Tem of Liberia. Since the enactment of legislation on 26 January 1957, tradition has it that every year, February 11, we celebrate in honor of the gallant men and women of the armed forces of Liberia in recognition of their bravery and meritorious services, highlighting the outstanding contributions they make to Liberia and acknowledging their sacrificial works for this nation and the people of Liberia. To be a soldier is to represent the best of our nation. It is to embody selfless service, to strive in the hardship and sacrifice expected of an elite warrior class, to work towards the science of guns, and to ably show the heritage created by those who have gone before us. So while we await the arrival of other dignitaries, we kindly request the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band to give us an interlude of music. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to recognize the presence of the Chinese ambassador. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to recognize the presence of the doyen of the diplomatic corps.
But you wanna right? Tina. No, speaker. I heard it. Tina. Then if I didn't hear you. So hello there, welcome to LNTV Liberia. We coming to you from the BTC Training Center here in Monrovia, where the official celebration of the Armed Forces Day is taking place. This morning the flag was hoisted and officials have begun to arrive, including other dignitaries from the Sierra Leonean Army as well as citizens of Liberia. They've all converged here to form part of the official celebration of the Armed Forces Day. So my name is Vasta Talu. We're coming to you live from the BTC barracks, and you can see behind me members of the military from the other sections have all, been attentive, welcoming, to receive His Excellency, and even the Excellency from Sierra Leone, and that's Julius Madabio this morning to form part of this auspicious occasion here at the BTC barracks in Monrovia. So the Armed Forces Day was first celebrated on February 11, 1957, when the Liberian legislature formally designated the date as Armed Forces Day to be celebrated in 1956. So 1957, the first Armed Forces Day was celebrated in Liberia as a national holiday. And since then, this day has been set aside by the national legislature to be recognized as a day for the armed forces to recognize the contributions of people who've worked hard, who've protected the territorial borders and confines of Liberia. So I've been joined by my colleague Anthony Williamson. Together we're going to do this commentary on the national television. Anthony, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Vashta.
I know you've been here since this morning. You saw the flag being hoisted and other activities. Could you mind bringing us up to speed?
Sure, thank you. So, like you said, first thing this morning we got here, the flag is usually hosted at around 6 a.m., first thing in the morning. And so the flag, the national anthem, was raised by 7 soldiers. Two of them handling the flag, and 4 of them standing around and giving commands. It was a beautiful display this morning when they conducted the hosting of the flag. And then once that was done at around 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. this morning, they started to group themselves, like you see them in the field currently, and organized in different units. So currently, the various units like you are seeing currently are now in the field, but those units were in the back. First thing this morning, this entire place was empty, and we witnessed the arrival of several guests to fill all of these empty seats that we also had first thing this morning. So, as you can see now, we are awaiting the arrival of His Excellency, the President, the Chief of Staff himself will go
Major
to meet.
General Division Fole, and that of the Minister of herself, there's Geraldine George, she's also here. So we've been joined by our colleague Yasser Suba. I know you've been here too as well this morning, and even followed the commentary live on the LNTV. So bring us up to speed to what was like your experience? What did you see? What is that that was quite different from last year to this year?
Thank you so kindly, Vashta. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon to our many viewers that are listening right now. My name is Yasa Suba, and we are here currently at the Forces celebration. And Vashta, I mean, this is quite different from last year because last year, we had or incident that was not quite it was quite unfortunate for us.
Okay.
But however, today we are here and get to experience all of these performances here. We saw the cultural troop, making their way in this morning. We have a lot of dignitaries that are here to grace today's occasion. I'm seeing, Senator Momo Saras. I'm seeing government officials, lawmakers that are here today to form part of today's celebration. So it's quite indeed an interesting one for us as Liberians because these days bring us together. And
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce the arrival of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia.
Go ahead.
So now we have the Chief Justice Siana Yo being escorted by. So we have.
Go ahead.
So we have the Chief Justice Siana Yo. She's been escorted by the Minister of Defense, National Defense, and other members of the protocol, telling her where to sit, giving her the designated seat. So
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also pleased to recognize the presence of the civilian ambassador accredited to Liberia.
So as the program progresses, the protocol will announce the arrival of dignitaries, people who are assigned from Sierra Leone to Liberia, and Liberians too, because you see the other hall has been jam-packed with Liberians who've come here to witness the occasion. So you also cover from the LNTV side, you also from the social media side, you also cover the lower house. Among the people in the crowd, who do you really recognize as members of the lower house?
Well, Vashta, I'm saying I'm saying the Deputy Speaker for the 55th House of Representatives, and that's Honorable Thomas Fada. He's here currently, but I've yet to see the present of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. However, I'm seeing several lawmakers in there, but the way they are structured, I'm not really capturing them at the moment, but however, I'm seeing few senators, senators, and lawmakers that are there in the queue. They are here today to grace this occasion, so it's quite a unique one for us as Liberians.
Okay, so we've been told that the speaker is also here.
Sure.
Yeah, he's also here. Yeah, but he's not, being seated right now, but he's here as information just come in, just confirmed that the speaker is also here. So from the...
Obviously, he needs to be here because, he will represent the 55th House of Representatives, so obviously he needs to be here to grace today's occasion.
So looking at the formation, Anthony, look at how beautiful they are dressed and their attire. What can you say about, the professionalism of our paramilitary troops?
Oh, I think it's at a next level.
Okay.
It's actually
Ladies and
at
gentlemen,
next level.
since the enactment of legislation on 26 January 1957, tradition has it that every year, February 11, we celebrate in honor of the gallant men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, in recognition of their bravery and meritorious services, highlighting the outstanding contributions they make to Liberia and acknowledging their sacrificial works for this nation and the people of Liberia.
Yes,
so that's it right there.
Definitely, and I was trying to describe.
The record of the armed forces of Liberia speaks for itself. It has a rich heritage distinguished by those who carry its colors throughout history. A heritage maintained by those who wear the uniforms today.
And revitalized, retrained, reorganized, so yes, trust me, speaking of currently how attired they are so uniquely attired, Vasta. All of them have got on brand new uniforms, brand new boots, you know, and all of that. So they're so organized. There are different units, different companies, company A, and you know, and upwards. So we also have the Coast Guards represented. We have the Liberia Immigration Services. We have the Liberia National Police here.
Okay.
We've got the City Police, the Monrovia City Police, the Pinsville City Police. We've got the Forest Rangers from the National Forestry, you know. So, I mean, but maybe our camera can now focus on the arrival of the Vice President.
Of the Vice President.
Sure, definitely.
So the Vice President vehicle, okay.
Yes, it has been directed.
Yeah, settled.
And the Chief of Staff.
Major General Davidson Foley and that of the Defense Minister of South, Jared and George. They will now receive the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. And as soon as he sits down, few seconds or few minutes, we'll have the arrival of His Excellency as per the protocol.
We also have
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the arrival of the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia.
So, Vashta, that's it. That's the arrival of the Vice President.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, we expect to see the arrival of His Excellency the President also, but we are also yet to see the arrival of the keynote speaker today.
Okay.
Who is the President of Sierra Leone, our next door neighbor, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio.
Okay.
I guess he will come along with the President because he's an official guest of the Commander-in-Chief. The President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Army, don't forget.
Yeah. Okay.
So President Maada Bio will be here, I guess, before His Excellency the President arrives. And then once he's ushered in, trust me, once His Excellency President Barclay arrives, the program starts. The President dictates the protocol.
Okay.
So definitely we are awaiting. But we also see the arrival of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Wow.
Definitely, yeah,
Okay.
there she is.
Okay.
So yes, maybe you can focus on the arrival of former President.
So the former President,
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the arrival of former President Ellen Sirleaf Johnson.
So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia, is calmly and quietly walking.
And she's receiving a standing ovation.
Standing ovation, of course.
Yes.
A resounding one. I mean,
She's
she's
not allowing age to dictate to her because she's defeating age.
So she gets a warm hug from the defense minister there.
Yes.
Minister of Defense gets her a warm hug. You know, she's still moving strong.
And the entire crowd is standing. The entire crowd is standing. This is how respected she is, not just in Liberia, but the entire continent and even the entire world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in a stand as the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf approaches the grandstand.
So she approaches the grandstand now. She speaks to the Foreign Minister, speaks to the Vice President, and she'll shake a few hands. She shakes a few hands. She gives a hug to Madame Siane Yo,
The Chief Justice.
She also shakes the hand of the Deputy Speaker, Thomas P. Fala. And then she will calmly take her seats. The seat is being arranged for her. You know how you have to...
You may please be seated.
Yeah, so she sits right...
One thing I know about this lady is that she's not allowing age to defeat her.
Definitely.
Despite her the age catching up with her.
She's a friend of the LBS, you know.
Of
She's always
course,
in the studio.
Of course.
With Honorable Larry Barclay, they're always doing their change in minds and
Change in attitude. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so she's very strong. The way she walks steadily, takes her own time.
And I just love the way everyone just stood up and, gave a hand of applause. And yeah, she deserves it because, when she went to the foreign minister, I think she's having interest in more women being empowered.
Obviously the woman type, you know it.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So we're still seeing the arrival of guests.
Yeah.
I guess the First Lady, I guess. Who's next?
I just don't know until the vehicle comes.
Yeah, until the vehicle comes closer, until we can see who's coming next.
Okay.
But we are expecting the arrival of the First Lady, of the Second Lady, the arrival of our keynote speaker today, President Madabio. He's a very good friend to Liberia, a very good friend to President Barclay. Just last night, a dinner was held in his honor. And he explained how he contributed to Liberia's peace over the years. Not only did he, not only was he, or is he a friend to Liberia, he also fought for this country, in his own words, speaking yesterday. And I mean, it was fun, I was in the president's residence at where the dinner was held, hosting President Bio, his wife, Fatima Bio. First Lady Fatima.
To you from the BTC barracks here in Monrovia, where the official celebration of this year's Armed Forces Day will be.
Generally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, soldiers have one primary task: to be trained and ready to fight and win the nation's wars. This is achieved through tough, realistic, and challenging training that ensures effectiveness, proficiency, and professionalism in battle.
So we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
It's going to be a long day for us, trust me.
Yeah.
Because the guy on the PA system will continuously make announcements.
Maneuvers employed on the battlefield. Drills enable commanders to quickly move their forces from one point to another, mass their forces into battle formation that affords maximum firepower, and at the same time maneuver those forces as the situation develops.
So we have key positions in the armed forces. Here we have designated positions. We have primarily the AFL consists of an infantry brigade, an air wing, and the Liberian National Coast Guard, with key positions including commanding general, overall leader. We have the chief of staff, that's the administrative head. We have
the pre-parade serenade for today's parade is provided by the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band. The Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe.
So we have key positions: the commanding general, overall, the chief of staff. We have the brigade commanders, that's those who lead the infantry units. We have pilots, the air wing, and we have Coast Guard officers, that's the maritime law enforcement. And the primary function of the AFL, like we said, is to defend, defend Liberia's border and safeguard national security. Yes. So,
So speaking about the army, and speaking about, holistically talking about this occasion, it kind of tie in, with it comes at a time when Liberia is pushing, its bid for a seat.
Non-permanent seat.
Non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council. And just yesterday, the national launch.
The local launch.
Yes, in fact, it's
a national.
The national launch.
Okay.
The national launch, because don't forget, last year in 2024 at the UN General Assembly, there was an international launch where Liberia launched the bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council in New York, and that was done amongst its, with some of its allied countries. Speaking of the U.S., and speaking of Sierra Leone, our own counterpart, who is also on the UN Security Council.
I think the president will open okay.
So yes, I mean, like I said, just yesterday, the national launch of the bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council was launched at the Centennial Pavilion. We also still have banners of that event all being placed behind us there. So I mean, this Armed Forces Day also amplifies that particular fight or that particular.
How prepared, because your security counts.
Yes,
your
of course, security
counts.
and defense. You know, remember the UN Security Council is responsible to instill peace across the globe. Peace and security across the globe. It is that one UN chapter that
present-day parades in the military have their basis in both history and tradition. The mass formation of troops on one long line at close interval made possible the massing of firepower from Moscow-loaded muskets of yesterday.
So that's it.
In those early days, The land of battle was just that, a land of 2 or 3 ranks, and looks much like the formation you see today.
So that's it. That's it. So, I mean, we can conclude on the issue of the Security Council, but it ties in with the celebration of Armed Forces Day. They also help to send the message out there, you know. So that's it. Every Liberian has to contribute in a way to allow Liberia to get on the UN Security Council.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
This is not so much
the
about
68th Armed Forces Day Parade is being executed by the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Liberia National Police, Liberia Immigration Service, Department of Custom, Liberia Revenue Authority, Liberia National Fire Service, Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Monrovia City Police, Liberia Seaport Police, National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority, Painesville City Police, and Liberia Scott Association.
So that's it, folks. That's it. We're still here at the BTC. We are awaiting the arrival of guests, especially His Excellency the President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. We are awaiting the Sierra Leonean leader, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio. President Bio will deliver the keynote address here today at this year's Armed Forces Day celebration. So we await his arrival. Any moment from now, he's expected to be here. Of course, once President Barclay arrives, the event starts. It's not going to be a very long event because we expect that once the keynote address is delivered, we'll move
the AFL marching band, as we await our VIPs,
sounds,
kindly give us an interlude of music for entertainment.
And we also assume that the keynote speaker is also aligned with the president's entourage or his convoy as it arrives here at the Barclay Training Center. The BTC has a very large land here, an open field, and every year this is where the activities are held. One person left already. He's trying to join me. All right, so folks, that's it. So we are waiting the arrival of His Excellency. The President will be here. Aaron, if you have been following, I mean, I'm on TV, sir. I mean, Aaron, welcome. Thanks for joining me. These activities have been going on since morning. We've been here, and I think you've been following. Just walk our listeners or those following us, just walk them through, especially from your end because you are on the other end of the Barclay Training Center.
Thank you, Anthony.
You got to be a little bit louder.
Yes, let me say good morning to those who follow us on the radio and on television as well. It's good to be here this morning. The 68th celebration of the Armed Forces of Liberia, and we are seeing dignitaries, both foreign and local. The Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia is here. The Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Richard Nangbe Kong. The former President of the Republic of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is here. And Anthony, I was a little bit surprised to see how younger the former president is.
She's not getting any younger, man.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
But she looks cool. She looks good.
Yes, she looks good. And the Vice President of Liberia, Jeremiah Kwankun, is also here. And I mean,
all right. So we are seeing the arrival of more dignitaries. I guess it's the arrival of the Sierra Leonean President, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio. That's his vehicle right ahead of us there. So he has just arrived. Just yesterday, he arrived in country at the Rabat International Airport on a flight. So he will be received now. He's expected to he will deliver the keynote address today. Let me not say expected to. And I guess now that he has arrived, the next person we will be awaiting now will be the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the President himself. So yes, he's being accompanied by his First Lady, Madam Fatima Maada Bio. There you have her there, dressed up in her green attire. Of course, speaking to the occasion.
Sanos to
Yeah,
march.
yeah, nicely attired. We're still hearing sounds of sirens.
Distinguished ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
President Bill,
please
all dressed
rise
up in
for
his
the
black,
arrival
Just up
of
on
the
the
guest speaker
yeah,
for the
dressed up in
68th
his
Armed
black,
Forces Day
nice suit.
ceremony and the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio.
His Excellency Julius Maada Bio there, the President of Sierra Leone, arriving here at the. So, Aaron, thank you very much. We'll rejoin you. My colleague Vashta and I will continue from here. We'll rejoin you shortly. I'll swap and you come over. Thank you very much.
Please be in the stand until His Excellency is seated.
Sir. Thank you. One second, let me put this. So yes, Pastor, we just witnessed the arrival.
You may please.
We just witnessed the arrival of
You may please be
Julius
seated.
Maada Bio, who will deliver our keynote address today. So I guess any moment from now, it will be the arrival of His Excellency the President, President Joseph Barclay himself. So yes, Pastor, we await the arrival now of His Excellency the President. I'm seeing signs of the arrival of His Excellency the President. In fact, I've seen the escort vehicle of the executive mansion. So His Excellency obviously might be here, but you just witnessed the arrival of Sierra Leone's President, President Julius Maada Bio.
Retired.
Yes,
General.
retired Brigadier General.
Brigadier General.
So experienced.
Yeah.
So experienced when it comes to military. So experienced. I mean, we all know his history in Sierra Leone. And so having him here in Liberia means a lot for this, anniversary for our country's defense.
And the last evening when the dinner was being held by the government, you did listen to the remarks made there by the president of Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want my wife to have problem because at that time I was not married.
No, he wasn't married.
Yeah, and
He wasn't married.
and Liberia and Monrovia was a place like away from home.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed at the jokes and everything because Liberia is like a home to Sierra Leoneans. Sierra Leone is also their home to Liberia. So it's like we have our cultures are intertwined and we do everything in common. So,
so Vashta, behind us is the official vehicle, the official motorcade of His Excellency the President. It's arriving. I mean, if you look a little
I'm seeing the presence of the president's protocol. So as soon as you see them around, you know that he is around.
The Commander-in-Chief of the Army. He is the Commander-in-Chief of the Army. So his vehicle is there already. So folks, once President Barclay arrives, this event officially starts. I mean, we've done all of the formalities already. So now we are witnessing his arrival. So that's it, folks, wherever you're watching us from.
And the troops are so attentive right now.
Their boss is here, you expect that. Their boss is here, you expect that. Well
one of the most organized institutions in Liberia, I'm talking about the armed forces, very respectful, disciplined, up to
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, His Excellency President Joseph Yuman Barclay Sr.
for the president to disembark his vehicle.
And look how the Chief of Staff of the Army is so attentive. Hands down, same case with the Minister of Defense. Hands down, awaiting to see the president. The president is down, dressed up in his nice suit. Green also.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
Beautifully attired.
Forest green.
Forest green.
Yeah.
And he's stepping already.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long day for him, don't forget.
Okay.
He stumbled there a little bit. But he's going to stand right here on the podium where...
It means nothing.
Yeah, it means, of course, he's a soldier. Yeah, he's the commander-in-chief, so... And now he will be guided by the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces. The both of them will guide him from both angles, left to the right. And and then the national anthem will be played. Once that is done, he will retire, return to his seat, and then that will be it. And then we will start this official program. Folks, everyone is on their feet. Former President Shirley, she's up. Our speaker is up.
The vice president is also up.
Yeah,
and
they're all
even
standing.
the guest of honor is also up.
Yes, President Julius Marabio stands, you know, and of course.
Yeah, even the foreign minister and the Senate pro tempore of the Liberian Senate.
Yeah, they're both
two powerful ladies.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you may please be in the stand until the commander of troops brings the colors forward for honor to the nation.
All right, Pastor. So bringing the colors of honor to the nation is like presenting to His Excellency the flag of the Republic of Liberia, red, white, and blue, the national anthem. And
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the commander of troops for today's parade is Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Timothy Powell, Commander 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia.
So, as you can see, he and his men are marching now.
Okay.
So they will come towards the president.
For more than a century, the flag is the banner under which Liberians have lived, fought, and died. The flag is more than the symbol. The flag is the embodiment of our government, its people, ideal, and value. Thus, as the flag is being presented to the Commander-in-Chief, respect is paid to the nation.
So the commander of troops now will approach His Excellency, walk towards him, and request to present. Fine, you heard him.
The colors are now being presented to Mr. President.
The commander of troops will retire.
Please remain standing for the playing of the Liberia National Anthem by the Armed Forces of Liberia Band. At the playing of the Liberia National Anthem, all military and paramilitary personnel wearing uniforms are to render a right-hand salute. And civilian personnel are kindly asked to place their hands over their hearts. Those male civilians wearing caps are kindly asked to please remove their caps and place their right hands over their hearts.
This begins the official celebration of the 68th Armed Forces Day.
You may please be seated.
The BTC. Okay. So everyone is now being asked to return to their various seats. So that's it, folks. Wherever you're watching us from now, get ready, sit at the edge of your seats. It's time now to start this actual event, the official program itself. And I think we will turn the commentary over. We will continue with the commentary subsequently. But we will be hearing comments from the
At this time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
thank you ever so
the
much.
AFL marching band will render its selection.
The AFL Marching Band is marching forward for the invocation of today's program. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the AFL Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe.
All right, folks, that's the marching band of the Armed Forces of Liberia. A beautiful selection there. The selection has went. Marching band now for April.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'm pleased to invite to the podium Major Uraja Zoka, Chaplain General, Armed Forces of Liberia, and Staff Sergeant Kamara Issa of the AFF Imam Services for invocation.
Shall we pray? Almighty Father, maker of mankind and the author of peace, we come to you this morning as a nation to say thank you for our country, Liberia, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Honorable Minister of National Defense, the Chief of Staff, men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia, and our national and international partners. We also want to say thank you this morning for bringing to us the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Salome on this 68th Armed Forces Day celebration as we remain on the cost paid by all gallant service men and women for the peace we enjoy. Lord, we ask that you bless members of our armed forces. I pray that you give us courage, strength, and fortitude as we continue to serve our nation. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the blessed Holy Spirit. Amen.
May you please rise. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه في سورة هجرات بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعرفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم صدق الله العظيم. May I present to you a reminder from the Noble Quran on this important day from Surah Hujurat verse 13. It interprets, O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made your inclinations and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of the Almighty God is the most righteous of you. This powerful message reminds us that true excellence lies in piety and righteousness. Shall we continue invocation? O Allah, the Almighty God, our provider and sustainer, we acknowledge you with grateful hearts as we remember and honor the brave men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, along with all security services and agencies in Liberia. We give thanks for their courage, dedications, and services in serving with integrity and protecting our nation. Oh Allah, may you protect them from the hazards of their environment and their equipment. Oh Allah, grant them the strength, wisdom, and logistical support that they may become more proficient and efficient in their constitutional responsibilities. Oh Allah, grant our leaders and the leaders of Africa the strength and the courage to govern with integrity, fairness, and righteousness. May they work together in harmony for the betterment of our country, its people, and the continent of Africa. Oh Allah, protect them from harm, guide them in their decisions, and bless them with wisdom and compassion. Oh Allah, may we live in perpetual unity, peace, and prosperity in Liberia. May we always strive to uphold justice, freedom, and equality for all. In the name of the Almighty God we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in the stand until the commander of troop posts the colors. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the flag is more than the symbol. The flag is the embodiment of our government, its people, ideals, and values. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the quarter party is now marching to post the colors and form part of today's parade. Once again, the flag is more than the symbol. The flag is the embodiment of our government, its people, ideals, and values. You may please be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there goes the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band. The Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after the station of the Armed Forces of Liberia band, the commander of troops for today's parade will now, or is now preparing the troops for the commander-in-chief's inspection of troops. The Commander-in-Chief, along with the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia and the Commander of Troops, will now conduct an inspection by troop in the lines. In days past, troop in the line enabled the soldiers to physically identify their commander and allow the commander to personally observe and evaluate his soldier and equipment in order to judge for himself his capability to successfully engage in battle. Commanding the 1st Infantry Battalion is Major Henry D. Joe, Executive Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Ladies and gentlemen, you may please be seated. Commanding the 1st Infantry Battalion is Major Henry D. Joe, Executive Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. The Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Philip Capper. Alpha Company is commanded by 1st Lieutenant Jeremiah Wallace. At this time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President and the Commander-in-Chief has just made a brief stop to the quarters to pay homage to the nation. The Medical Command of the Armed Forces of Liberia is commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Doris Hanna. The Armed Forces Training Command is commanded by 1st Lieutenant Emmanuel Wazer Molba. The Engineering Battalion, the 21st Engineering Battalion is commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Taniel Bade. The Liberia Coast Guard is commanded by Ethan Anderson P. Shamo Jr. The Liberia National Police is commanded by Superintendent Daniel Lane S. Bade. The Liberia Immigration Service is commanded by Officer Rubel Gweglu. The Liberia Revenue Authority Department of Customs is commanded by Officer Sam S. Cooper. Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency is commanded by Sergeant Jala S. Biliyama. The Monrovia City Police is commanded by Dave B. Davis. The Liberia Seaport Police is commanded by Patrolman Eastman Krua. The National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority is commanded by Inspector J. Foley Calon. The Pinsville City Police is commanded by Nathan F. Maniye. And the Liberia Scott Association is commanded by Commissioner Creamer Lockett. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since the enactment of legislation on 26 January 1957, tradition has it that every year, February 11, we celebrate in honor of the gallant men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia in recognition of their bravery and meritorious services, highlighting the outstanding contributions they make to Liberia and acknowledging their sacrificial works for this nation and the people of Liberia. The record of the Armed Forces of Liberia speaks for itself. It has a rich heritage, distinguished by those who carry its colors throughout history, a heritage maintained by those who wear the uniforms today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's parade is in commemoration of the 68th Armed Forces Day celebration. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the inspection of troops is done. The commander of troops will now seek permission from His Excellency for him to join the parade once more. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we all please rise as Mr. President approaches the grandstand. Please remain in the stand until Mr. President is seated. At this time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we humbly request the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band for a band display. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Armed Forces of Liberia Marching Band is commanded by Second Lieutenant Philip Capper, and the drums major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm pleased and honored to respectfully invite to the podium Honorable Spencer G. N. Liko, Deputy Minister for Operation, Ministry of National Defense, for the introduction of the keynote speaker, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
His Excellency Joseph Human Barclay, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. His Excellency Jeremiah Kwankun, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Mrs. Fatima Mbio, First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The Speaker and members of the Honorable House of Representatives. The Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court. The President pro tempore and members of the Liberian Senate. The Dean and members of the Cabinet. The Doyen and members of the Diplomatic Corps. Brigadier General Geraldine J. George, retired, Minister of National Defense. Major General Davidson F. Fuller, Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of Liberia. Members of the AFL High Command. Distinguished Service Order recipients. Eminent citizens, officers and non-commissioned officers. Members of the press. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while every year's Armed Forces Day is unique, this year's ceremony is extraordinary. For the first time in the history of the Armed Forces of Liberia, AFL, a certain head of state of a foreign nation will serve as our keynote speaker on Armed Forces Day. Born on May 12, 1964, in Tihun, Sobini, Bon District, he is one of 35 children of Paramount Chief Charlie Warning Bill II of Sobini Chiefdom. He credits his mother, Mami Amy, as the person from whom he acquired all his driving principles in life: calmness, hard work, and a staunch belief in God. He completed his primary, secondary, and undergraduate education in Sierra Leone. He holds a master's degree in international affairs from the American University in Washington, D.C., USA. Most recently, he was a senior research fellow at the University of Bradford, United Kingdom, pursuing a doctorate program in peace studies. Always driven by a longing to serve his country, he started his illustrious public service journey as a school teacher before joining the Sierra Leone Army, where he rose through the ranks as brigadier. During the dark days of our civil conflict, he served within the Sierra Leone contingent under ECOMOG in 1991 for 7 months, putting his life in danger, as was the case with many other West African soldiers, with some who paid the ultimate price for the peace we now enjoy. This visionary statesman believes strongly in public service and has dedicated his entire life to its cause. Besides his career in teaching and military service, he has served as Chief Secretary of State, Chief of Defense Staff, Minister of Information, Minister of Marine Resources, Deputy Head of State, and ultimately as Head of State of Sierra Leone from January to March 1996. As Head of State, he presided over the conduct of the first democratic elections in Sierra Leone in nearly 3 decades. He is popularly referred to as the father of democracy because of his outstanding contribution towards the restoration of democracy and the attainment of peace in Sierra Leone. This year, Armed Forces Day keynote speaker is the 5th President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. In June 2023, he was re-elected for his 2nd term after securing victory with more than 56% of the votes. Under his leadership, Sierra Leone has made remarkable progress. As a passionate supporter of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, he hasn't just talked the talk, but walked the walk. His administration has expanded access to education for more than 1 million new learners through free quality education program, enhanced energy accessibility, improved access to healthcare, increased access to water supply, and made significant gains in the control of corruption. Abraham Lincoln once said, if you want to test a man's character, give him power. He has not used the power given him through the democratic process for himself, but for the upliftment of the people of Sierra Leone. For his second term, he has prioritized food security as his flagship program. He has ushered in significant governance reforms within Sierra Leone. He repealed a 55-year-old seditious libel law, abolished the death penalty, enacted Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Act that guarantees 30% representation of women in governance, and enacted the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act that criminalizes marriage of anyone under the age of 18 in Sierra Leone. Of the African Union, African Peer Review Forum of Heads of State and Government. Currently, he holds the position of chair of the African Union Committee of 10 for the reform of the United Nations Security Council, advocating the common African position laid out in the Isowini Consensus and the Third Declaration. Under his guidance, Sierra Leone's global standing has soared, gaining approval from 188 out of 192 United Nations member states to secure a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council after a half-century gap. In August 2024, President Bio presided over the United Nations Security Council and spearheaded significant debate on the reform of the Council. Sierra Leone is also an elected member of the African Union's Peace and Security Council, PSC, for the 2024 to 2026 term. President Biya has received numerous accolades for his exceptional leadership on both national and international stages. In 2022, he was named African of the Year at the 11th African Leadership Persons of the Year event. The following year, he was celebrated as African President of the Year during the 8th Annual London Political Summit and Awards. In 2024, the United States Foreign Policy Association to join me as we welcome to the podium a former economic soldier, founding head of Unity, Honor, Freedom, and Justice, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Sierra Leone, Supreme Head of State, and Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Brigadier Julius Mada Warning Bio, retired President of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much. Let's sit down, please. After such a generous introduction, I don't even know where to start. Your Excellency, Joseph Nyuma Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, my dear brother, the Honorable Vice President, Jeremiah Kpankun, Madam First Lady, ambassadors, members of the diplomatic and community and diplomatic community, honorable ministers of government, chief of defense staff, and senior officers of the armed forces of Liberia, the chief of defense staff of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who is here to accompany me, distinguished guests, good morning. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to stand before you today on this very solemn yet inspiring occasion of the 68th anniversary of the Liberia Armed Forces. First, let me bring you warm greetings from the government and people of the Republic of Sierra Leone as we join you in celebrating the valor, dedication, and sacrifice of the men and women of the armed forces of Liberia. As we gather here today to pay tribute to your unwavering commitment to peace, security, and national development, I recall with nostalgia our days in the military, when we fought alongside the courageous soldiers of this great country, Liberia, in defense of lives and properties, and to bring lasting peace and security to our dear people. I'm happy that Liberia is peaceful. Of course, I'm happy to be at BTC again. For us as soldiers, I still think I'm a soldier, nothing else mattered more than protecting the territorial integrity of our beloved country and that of our neighbors. And that was why I was here. My neighbor needed my support. So for me, today's event brings back memories while reminding us of the humongous task ahead of us. The event's theme, sustainable peace and security through stakeholders' engagement, the role of the armed forces, is timely and relevant. It speaks to the very core of our shared aspirations as nations that have endured the trials and tribulations of conflict, emerged stronger, and continue to build institutions that safeguard democracy, stability, and progress. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the armed forces have always played a central role in ensuring national and regional security. Beyond the conventional duty of defending territorial integrity, today's military institutions are pivotal actors in fostering peace, responding to emergencies, supporting development initiatives, and strengthening democratic governance. Liberia and Sierra Leone share a history that underscores the importance of sustainable peace and security, a history that binds us in our commitment to a peaceful future. We have witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of conflict and also the experience of the power of resilience, reconciliation, and rebuilding. Our nations have learned that sustainable peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice, good governance, social cohesion, and economic opportunity. In this context, In this context, the engagement of all stakeholders, the government, civil society, international partners, and the security and armed forces is not just important, it is indispensable. Your role is crucial in our collective pursuit of peace and security, not only in Liberia, but in the sub-region. The military alone cannot maintain peace and security. It requires a concerted effort involving political leaders, security institutions, community organizations, and even ordinary citizens. Stakeholders' engagement fosters inclusiveness, while trust and cooperation are all essential for stability. The Liberia Armed Forces have undoubtedly demonstrated a commendable commitment to working with various sectors of society. Reinforcing the idea that the military is not an isolated entity, but an integral part of the nation's fabric. Through peacekeeping missions, humanitarian assistance, disaster response, and community service, they exemplify the evolving role of the armed forces in a democratic society. Similarly, Sierra Leone has embraced this approach. Our armed forces continue to engage with national and international stakeholders to uphold peace, support economic recovery, and contribute to regional stability through the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the African Union. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on and celebrate the armed forces' achievements, we also acknowledge these challenges ahead. The threats to peace and security in our region are evolving, ranging from transnational crime and cyber threats to climate-related conflicts and economic disparities. To address these threats effectively, we must strengthen our civil-military relations, promote capacity building, enhance regional collaboration, and strengthen democratic institutions. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we must collectively celebrate not only the courage and sacrifice of the armed forces of Liberia, but also the fundamental role that they play in safeguarding peace, stability, democracy in Liberia and in the wider West Africa. An army that serves not only as the protector of national sovereignty, but also as a pillar of democratic governance. In a world where democracy is constantly challenged by forces of division, conflict, and instability, ladies and gentlemen, I charge you, the gallant men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, to stand firm as guardians of the democratic order. Uphold the rule of law. Defend the constitutional government. Remain above politics and let your loyalty be to the people, the Constitution, and the democratic institutions that form the foundation of this great nation. History has shown us that when the military aligns with democratic values, nations prosper. When it deviates, society falter. Your commitment to professionalism, respect for human rights, and collaboration with civil institutions will not just strengthen Liberia's democracy, it will set an example for the region and reassure the people of your unwavering dedication to democratic values. Let your service be marked by integrity, patriotism, and unwavering dedication to peace. Be the shield that protects, not the sword that divides. Be the force that ensures stability, not the one that undermines it. Comrades, the people of Liberia look to you with trust. The region looks to you with expectation. And history will remember you for your steadfastness in upholding the principles of peace, justice, and democracy. Long live the armed forces. Long live the Republic of Liberia. And long live the sister Republic of Sierra Leone.
Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Brigadier General Julius Marabio, retired. Brigadier General Marabio is a distinguished statesman who has devoted his life to the service of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The senior officer's career, marked by good leadership, sacrifice, and dedication, has outstandingly contributed to the country's democratic process and national security. Born on May 12, 1964, in Tohon, Sabone, Chiefdom, Bande District, he hails from the lineage of leadership as one of the 35 children of Paramount Chief Charlie Warren Bio II. He pursued his education in Sierra Leone before becoming his public service journey as a teacher, later evolving into an exceptional military career. Brigadier General Bio, disasters of 2015. His philanthropic and commitment to the welfare of Sierra Leoneans highlights his selfless devotion to the nation and its people. Most recently, Brigadier General Bio pursued further academic excellence as Senior Research Fellow at the University of Bradford, United Kingdom, focusing on peace studies. This endeavor reinforces his lifelong dedication to peace and stability in Sierra Leone and beyond, cementing his legacy as a leader committed to national and global development. For his distinguished service to the Republic of Sierra Leone and his resolute commitment to peace and democracy in the Monrovia Union, MRU, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, I, Jose Njimabwakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Honor Citation for Distinguished Service Honor. Lieutenant General Daniel Ishmael Opandi, retired. Lieutenant General Daniel
Lieutenant General Ishmael Opande, retired, is an illustrious son of Kenya and was born on 18 August 1943. A graduate of the British Army Officer Cadet School, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant on 2nd May 1964. His military career has been defined by excellence, vision, and his steadfast commitment to peace and security in Africa. Throughout his distinguished service, Lieutenant General Opande held key command and staff positions, including Vice Chief of General Staff and Commandant of the National Defense College of Kenya. He played a pivotal role in establishing the 1st Kenyan Armed Forces Parachute Unit, an infantry battalion, and Kenya's first United Nations peacekeeping contingent which supported Namibia's transition to independence. His contributions to peacekeeping and mediation are unparalleled. He served as Deputy Force Commander in Namibia, UNTAG, in 1989 to 1990. Chief Military Observer in Liberia, UNMIL, from 1993 to 1995, and Force Commander in Sierra Leone from 2000 to 2003, and Liberia during UNMIL from 2003 to 2004. His tenure in Liberia was instrumental in enhancing peace, improving security, and sustaining developmental growth. Beyond the battlefield, Lieutenant General Opande has been a tireless advocate for peace, mediating Kenya's election crisis and contributing to Mozambique's peace process. His effort has earned him prestigious honors, including the Moron of the Golden Heart, Chief of the Burning Spear, and several United Nations peacekeeping medals. In retirement, he continues to influence Africa's future as a consultant, mediator, and educator. In his autobiography, In Pursuit of Peace in Africa, serving as a statement to his enduring legacy, in recognition of his extraordinary contributions to the armed forces of Liberia, the Republic of Liberia, and the African continent. I, Jose Nimambwakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Order to Lieutenant General Daniel Ishmael Opande. Your service brings credit upon yourself, your family, your country, and men and women of the armed forces of Liberia. Given this 11th day of February 2025, Brigadier General Geraldine J. George, retired, Minister of National Defense, Republic of Liberia, seal of the President, His Excellency Joseph Nimambwakai Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Brigadier General Aaron Thomas Johnson, retired. Brigadier General Aaron Thomas Johnson, retired, is a distinguished Liberian officer whose career in the armed forces of Liberia spans decade, rising to the ranks of Brigadier General. During his illustrious career, he demonstrated unwavering patriotism, exceptional leadership, and a deep commitment to the defense and advancement of his nation. His military journey began in 1971 at the Totman Military Academy, Toli, Liberia, where he was commissioned as an officer. Subsequently, he completed several military courses, including infantry officer basic and advanced courses at Fort Benning, Georgia, United States of America. Diploma in defense, multiple criteria decision-making courses at the Defense Resource Management Institute at the Navy Postgraduate School in California, USA, and diploma, a 12th African Strategic Course, NASA High Military Academy in Egypt, which prepared him for higher level strategic and operational roles. Throughout his career, Brigadier General Johnson held key positions within the Armed Forces of Liberia and the Ministry of National Defense, shaping the operational and tactical capabilities of the military. He served as Assistant G3 for Operation, Brigade S3, Deputy G3, and Assistant Chief of Staff G3, playing a crucial role during critical movement in Liberia's history. Following his retirement in 2005, he was later reinstated in 2007 and subsequently served as Deputy Chief of Staff, contributing to the modernization of the Armed Forces of Liberia into a professional force for good. Beyond his military service, Brigadier General Johnson played a vital role in national development, serving as Deputy Director General of Veteran Affairs at the National Bureau of Veteran Affairs from 2013 to 2017, where he championed the welfare of Liberia's veterans. His enduring contribution to the military and nation-building efforts reflect his dedication to service, leadership, and mentorship, leaving a legacy of discipline, integrity, and national pride. In recognition of his extraordinary service to the Republic of Liberia, I, Joseph Nyimambwakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the distinguished order to Brigadier General Aaron Thomas Johnson, retired. Your unwavering service is a source of immense pride which reflects distinct credit upon yourself, your family, and the men and women of the armed forces. Brigadier General Ravindra Y is a distinguished officer of the Michigan Army National Guard, has proven excellent leadership, strategic vision, and operational acumen throughout his military career. His service has been instrumental in enhancing operational readiness and strengthening international partnerships worldwide. He was commissioned as an infantry officer from Slippery Rock University, Pennsylvania in 1994, and has since completed numerous prestigious military courses, including the Infantry Officer Basic and Captain Career courses, the USA Army War College, Distinguished Undergraduate, and various specialized joint force training programs. Brigadier General Wa has held key assignments, including Assistant to the Adjutant General Army for the Michigan National Guard and Special Assistant to the Vice Chief, National Guard Bureau for Pacific Initiatives. He has commanded at multiple levels, notably including Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star Medal, and the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, alongside multiple prestigious military badges and qualifications. In recognition of his extraordinary service, enormous contributions and untiring dedication to military excellence and international cooperation, I, Joseph Nyimambuakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Order to Brigadier General Ravindra Y. Your exemplary service to international military cooperation is a source of immeasurable pride and reflects distinct credit upon yourself, your family, your country, and the men and women on the armed forces of Liberia. Given this 11th day of February, Brigadier General Jordan George, retired Minister of National Defense, Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Nyimambuakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Consecutive years in the former AFL and later in the restructured AFL reflects his unwavering commitment to national security and institutional transformation. Throughout his service, he played a vital role in strengthening Liberia's military capabilities and upholding its defense priorities. From 28 February 2011 to 30 April 2013, Colonel Nopa served as Commandant of the Armed Forces Training Command, AFTC, where he supervised critical training programs. Under his leadership, the first batch of Armed Forces of Liberia troops trained for deployment to the United Nations Peace Mission in Mali, enhancing the Armed Forces of Liberia's reputation as a force for good. Prior to this, he served as Assistant Chief of Staff, J3, at AFL headquarters and held several appointments in the former AFL, including Deputy G2, which is intelligence, Chief of Finance, and Deputy Adjutant General. His strategic leadership and administrative acumen were instrumental to shaping AFL operations. Following his honorable retirement in 2003, Colonel Nopa played a crucial role in Liberia's military reform efforts. His reinstatement into the new AFL in 2008 as a lieutenant colonel marked a pivotal movement in the country's security sector reform initiative. As a senior mentor, he facilitated crucial training partnerships with the Michigan National Guard and the State of Israel, which enhanced the capabilities of the AFL. His academic credentials in military strategy and leadership include certifications from the International Defense Resource Management Program in California, USA, the Command and General Staff College in Kansas, USA, and the African Center for Strategic Studies in Washington, D.C., USA. Even in retirement, Colonel Nopa remains deeply engaged in Liberia's security sector. From 2016 to 2020, he served as research and technical officer and head of the technical committee on arms at the Liberia National Commission of Small Arms. In this role, he helped to strengthen cooperation among national security agencies in managing and controlling state arms and armories, leaving a lasting impact on national security governance. For his invaluable contributions to the armed forces of Liberia and his enduring legacy in national defense, I, Joseph Nyimambuakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Order to Colonel Antonin F. Nopa, retired. Your lifelong service to Liberia reflects immense credit upon yourself, your family, and the men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, given this 11th day of February 2025. Brigadier General Geraldine J. George, retired Minister of National Defense, Republic of Liberia, and His Excellency Joseph Nyimwan Boaka Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Councillor Francis Johnson Allison. Councillor Francis Johnson Allison is a distinguished Liberian lawyer, jurist, and public servant whose exemplary career has spanned the judiciary and the executive branches, including electoral governance. Her unfaltering dedication to justice, democracy, and transparency has left an indelible mark on Liberia's legal and political landscape. Johnson Allison earned a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Liberia and later earned a law degree from the Louis Arthur School of Law in Monrovia. She became a resident circuit judge in 1989 and subsequently made history as the first female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia in 1997. During a challenging period that included the aftermath of the First Liberian Civil War. Beyond the judiciary, she contributed significantly to governance and legal reform. From 2004 to 2005, as director of the Catholic Justice and Peace Commission, JPC, she championed the rise of the voiceless and provided free legal service to the disadvantaged whose rights were violated. On her leadership as the chairperson of the National Election Commission, she successfully organized the 2005 Liberia general and presidential elections, which led to the historic election of Africa's first and democratically elected female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. In 2006, Johnson Allison was appointed Minister of Justice and Attorney General, overseeing critical post-war legal reforms. She later served as Minister of Commerce and Industry from 2007 to 2008. In 2008, she became chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, where she championed transparency and accountability until her resignation in 2013. In addition to her public service, she has been a legal educator and advocate. She returned to private legal practice in 2013 and contributed to legal education as a professor at the Louis Arthur School of Law until her resignation in 2023. Her unwavering commitment to justice, governance, and the rule of law is in keeping with the highest tradition of public service and reflects distinct credit upon herself, her family, and the Republic of Liberia. Therefore, for her commendable service to the government of Liberia, I, Joseph Nyimwan Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Order to Councillor Francis Johnson Allison. Your dedicated service to our country brings credit upon yourself, your family, and the men and women of the armed forces of Liberia. Given this 11th day of February 2025, citation for Distinguished Service Order. Sister Mary Lauren Brown. Sister Mary Lauren Brown was born on February 26, 1943 in Tapo, Maryland County, Liberia. A devoted member of the Bernardine Francisco Sisters of the Third Order, regular of San Francisco of Assisi, who has dedicated her life to faith, education, and nation building in Liberia. A distinguished scholar, Sister Mary Lauren holds degree in French language and literature from prestigious institutions such as Avernia University, USA, La Sorbonne Nouvelle, France, and Schiller. International contributions to education, faith, and public service. Sister Mary Lauren has received numerous national and international honors. Her tireless efforts in shaping Liberia's future stand as a demonstration of her faith, vision, and dedication to humanity. For her unparalleled service to the Republic of Liberia, I, Joseph Nyimamboakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and award the Distinguished Service Order to Sister Mary Lauren Brown. Your unwavering service to Liberia brings immense credit upon yourself, your family, and the men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Given this 11th day of February 2025, seal of the President, Brigadier General Geraldine Janet George, retired, the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Nyimamboakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. This concludes the citation for the Distinguished Service Order. Our stands are Major Goyan Milton Goyan, the Training Officer, Armed Forces Training Command.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we give a round of applause to our DSO recipients. His Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am honored and delighted to respectfully invite to the podium the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine Janet George, retired, for a remark.
Your Excellency, Joseph Nyimamboakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker and members of the 55th Legislature, Madam President Pro Tempore and members of the Liberian Senate, Her Honor the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia, the Chairman on Defense from the Liberia Senate and the House of Representatives, the Doyen and members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Dean and members of the Cabinet, current and former government officials here present, the guest speaker, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, opportunity for us to reflect on the noble achievement of the armed forces of Liberia, assess our challenges we face, and look forward to the possibilities ahead of us. Armed Forces Day is a moment to recognize the tireless contribution of our soldiers, sailors, and airmen who dedicate their lives to protecting our nations and contributing to peace and security both at home and abroad. On this note, I congratulate you, our men and women in uniform, for your huge sacrifices made in safeguarding humanity over the years. It is my pleasure to welcome each of you both physically and virtually to this auspicious program, which demonstrates our gratitude, admiration, and support to these extraordinary men and women of our military, and all those who have answered the noble call to duty but lost their lives in defense of our country. I want to take this moment to especially welcome and express my sincere thanks to our distinguished guest speaker, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you, Mr. President, for joining us today. Your Excellency, today's celebration holds a special significance not only to me, but also to the men and women of the armed forces of Liberia in more than one ways. Today marks both the 68th anniversary of the armed forces of Liberia and the second armed forces under this administration, covering the period 2024-2025. I remain extremely grateful for the opportunity to serve as the Minister of Defense and to lead this strategic endeavor. Your immense support has been instrumental in advancing the Ministry of National Defense and the AFL, enabling us to enhance our capacities and to execute our tasks efficiently both locally and internationally. Your Excellency, kindly permit me to briefly report on some of the ministry's key activities and the progress of the armed forces of Liberia. Reflection on our achievement. Your Excellency, the unwavering support of the government of Liberia and our international partners, coupled with your consistent vision and intent to improve the living and working conditions of our men and women in arms, 2024 was a year of significant milestones have advanced at major barracks, including Camp Jones in Kakatan, Makibi County, Camp Grant in Sanikwede, Lima County, while Camp Wessiner in Grand Chile is nearing completion. Renovation work is expected to commence at the Tottenham Military Barracks, Birmingham, Egypt. We have expanded training opportunities and introduced a cutting-edge facility, including the new reference laboratory at the 14th Military Hospital and the upcoming planned groundbreaking for the Armed Forces of Liberia Mental Wellness Center. Education and training. To enforce the importance of the knowledge in national defense for our population, the Ministry of National Defense and the Armed Forces of Liberia have developed a training manual for ROTC instructors for both senior high school and university students. Based on the premium of the government of Liberia and our international partners on gender mainstreaming within the security sector, 95% of Armed Forces of Liberia personnel have been trained in gender-related policies, while significant progress has been made in implementing the national gender policy. I would like to extend my gratitude to our partners, especially the UN family, for standing with us in achieving this milestone. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our journey in 2024 was not only engulfed with many achievements, it was also a year marked by challenges that we must confront. These challenges include resources constraint. One of the primary challenges we face in the timely completion of critical projects, such as housing for our troops and renovation of our barracks, is due to limited budget allocation have hindered our ability to fully realize these objectives. Logistic shortfalls. Operational efficiency is very critical to the work we do. Inadequate vehicles, power generation issues, and insufficient medical supplies continue to impact our operational efficiency. Environmental threat. The Liberian Coast Guard base is currently threatened by coastal erosion. This challenge underscores the urgent need for sustainable environmental defense strategies. Personnel welfare. Inadequate accommodation, healthcare, and recreation facilities remains a pressing concern. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we gather up for this incredible movement ahead, in this vein, the Ministry of National Defense remains unwavering in addressing our numerous challenges and building a stronger armed forces of Liberia. Our strategic priorities for 2025 include increased budgetary support, advocating greater financial investment to address and improve important areas such as infrastructure, logistics, and training. Enhancing recruitment and training, developing the AFL capacity through more recruitment drives and specialized training programs with support from our international partners. Improving housing and health services, fast-tracking the construction of better accommodation and improving healthcare services for our soldiers and the family. Strengthening maritime security, equipping the Coast Guard with enhanced tools such as boats to ensure that our security maritime borders are secure. And promoting gender inclusiveness. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate Armed Forces Day today, I ask all Liberians to join and support our brave soldiers. To our friends from around the world, we say a big thank you for your help and ask for even more support for the Liberia defense sector, especially the Armed Forces of Liberia. I also urge the government and all stakeholders to prioritize the funding and resources necessary for the Armed Forces of Liberia to carry out its mission effectively. By working together, we can overcome the challenges before us and build a stronger and more capable military. Finally, to the men and women in arms, as we honor you today for your bravery, hard work, and strength, we extend our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to you and your respective families for your loyalty, dedication, and sacrifice to our nation. The safety of our nation is based on what you gave up and what you gave us. And your service shows your constant love for Liberia. Remain focused on your mission and demonstrate supreme gathering and professionalism by affirming your loyalty and service to the state as a patriotic obligation and a constitutional responsibility. May we all learn from your example and work together to build a stronger, safer, and prosperous Liberia. May God bless the Armed Forces of Liberia, and may God bless the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
Defense of Liberia, Mr. Chief of Staff, and the gallant men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia, paramilitary brass, family members of the AFL, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasing duty to welcome for a special statement His Excellency Joseph Yuma Braga Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia.
Thank you very much. Please have your seats. Our guest of honor, my colleague, friend and brother, Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and Mrs. Bio. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, Madam Pro Temp, Chief Justice, and members of the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, our men-in-arms, our invited guests, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, members of the press, distinguished honorees, ladies and gentlemen. Today we assembled to once more honor and celebrate the bravery, dedication, and sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces. On the 68th Armed Forces Day, we pay tribute to those who have devoted their lives to protecting the territorial integrity of Liberia and ensuring the safety and security of our nation. Armed Forces Day is a time to reflect on the extraordinary contributions of our military personnel. Their unwavering commitment and patriotism have been the bedrock of our nation's defense. It is through their tireless effort that we enjoy peace and stability, and for this, we are eternally grateful. Let me extend special heartfelt welcome and gratitude to you. Exceedingly pleased and excited today to see us assembled in one accord in this serene ceremony, looking forward confidently at the future of our forces and our nation, a remarkable different scenario from what endured last year. The birth pains of our administration at about this time last year found manifestation in the amount of challenges facing our men and women in arms that we had inherited less than a month earlier. As we can see today, committed to working tirelessly to improve the living conditions, training, and resources available to our military personnel. We are exploring various avenues to ensure that our armed forces are well equipped and adequately supported to meet the demands of the critical role they have on their shoulders to play. It is in this regard that we commence and will continue the renovation of existing military barracks around the country to ease the problem of congestion at the Edward Binyang, Kesali, and other functional barracks. Additionally, while efforts have been made to renovate the Todi military barracks, those challenges in advancing our national defense agenda. To the gallant men and women in the armed forces of Liberia, I want to extend my deepest gratitude for your service. Your bravery and dedication inspire us. As you stand guard at our borders, protect our airspace, and secure our waters, know that the entire nation stands with you in solidarity and support. Let me close by saying, let me urge all of us as a nation to always remember the sacrifices made by those who have served before us, and let us honor their memory by continuing to uphold the values of courage, integrity, and patriotism. Together, we are on a course to build a stronger, more resilient armed force that will never falter in its duty to safeguard our nation's territory and future. Hooray to such an exuberant and immaculate force for good that you are. Thank you. May God bless the armed forces of Liberia and the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
The Commandant of Troops will now request permission from the Commander-in-Chief for pass-in review. The commander of troops for today's parade is Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Timothy Powo, Commander, 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. The adjutant for today's parade is Captain Aloysius Kwe, Operation Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Other members of the COT staff include Lieutenant Mansford Smallwood of the Logistics Command, Armed Forces of Liberia, 2nd Lieutenant Willard Nano SK of the Medical Command, Armed Forces of Liberia, Lieutenant Stephen Yekasin Kamara from the Liberia Coast Guard, Armed Forces of Liberia, Major Fulton Quayon, Operation Officer, Armed Forces Training Command, Armed Forces of Liberia, and the Sergeant Major of today's parade is Sergeant Major Freddie Victor Reeves of the 23rd Infantry Brigade. Commanding 1st Infantry Battalion is Major Henry D. Joe, Executive Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. Other members of the 1st Battalion staff include 1st Lieutenant Ansu Sharif, Captain Nenkondo Fala, 2nd Lieutenant Nathaniel B. Davis Jr., 2nd Lieutenant Kwayan Kaleko, and the flag bearer is Sergeant Tompo Eugene. The battalion sergeant major is Master Sergeant Fenin Tatters. Alpha Component 1st Battalion is commanded by Lieutenant Joy A. Zaza. The flag bearer is Sergeant James Brown, and the 1st Sergeant is Sergeant Robert Moses. 1st Battalion Bravo Company is commanded by 1st Lieutenant Blamo Melvin Brown. The flag bearer is Sergeant Musa Keita. And the 1st Sergeant is Staff Sergeant Jefferson Barclay. Commanding the 2nd Battalion is Captain John Duwa. Other staff members of the 2nd Battalion include 2nd Lieutenant Alfred Fofana Jr., 1st Lieutenant Louis Johnson, 1st Lieutenant Levi Erskine, and the flag bearer is Sergeant Dionysius Campbell. The Battalion Sergeant Major is Sergeant Major Archie Wilson. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, moving gallantly to the viewing stand is the commander of troops for today's parade, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Timothy Powo, Commander 2nd Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade, Armed Forces of Liberia. Other members of the COT staff include Lieutenant Manford Small. The drum major for today's parade is Corporal Dennis Doe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there goes the Armed Forces of Liberia marching band. Commanding the 1st Infantry Battalion is Major Henry D. Joe, Executive Officer, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. Other members of the 1st Battalion staff include Captain Nenkode Fala, 1st Lieutenant Ansu Sharif, 2nd Lieutenant Nathaniel B. David, Lieutenant Abraham D. Horses. The flag bearer is Sergeant Simon Joseph, and the 1st Sergeant is Ajivon Benedict. Bravo Company, 2nd Battalion is commanded by 2nd Lieutenant Grant Yomi. The flag bearer is Sergeant Johnson Bomin III, and the 1st Sergeant is Staff Sergeant Duemaro. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, moving gallantly to the viewing stand is the commander of the Logistics Command of the Armed Forces of Liberia. The commander for the Logistics Command and Armed Forces of Liberia is 1st Lieutenant Jeremiah Tanya Bade. The flag bearer is Sergeant Gray Andy, and the Command Sergeant Major is Master Sergeant Samuel Rashino. Ladies and gentlemen, the Liberia Coast Guard is commanded by ECN Anderson P. Shamor Jr. The Sergeant Major is Senior Chief Andrew Zobo. The flag bearer is PO2 Peter Ashibor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, marching gallantly to the viewing stand is the paramilitary staff. The commander of the paramilitary staff is Chief Inspector Princess B. Bavu of the Liberia National Police. Other members include Genesee B. Colley. The Liberian National Police is commanded by Superintendent Daniel Lynn S. Bade. The flag bearer is Patrolman Rebecca Kofa, and the first sergeant is Linian Weir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Liberia Immigration Service is commanded by Officer Robil Gwegulu. The Sergeant Major is Private Calvin Towe, and the flag bearer is Abigail Bobo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Liberia Revenue Authority, Department of Custom, is commanded by Officer Sam S. Cooper. The flag bearer is Arian Johnson, and the Sergeant Major is Charles Zuba. Ladies and gentlemen, the Liberia National Fire Service is commanded by Major God Mercy Toe. The flag bearer is Lieutenant Emmanuel Paco, and the first sergeant is Sergeant Mimin J. Wisse. Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency is commanded by Sergeant Jala S. Biliyama. The flag bearer is Vicky B. Tayon, and the first sergeant is Vanny Thomas. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Monrovia City Police is commanded by Commander Dave B. Davis. The first sergeant is Emmanuel K. Seaton, and the flag bearer is Patient Doma. The Liberia Seaport Police is commanded by Patrolman Eastman Kura, and the flag bearer is Patrolman Idan Kranga, and the first sergeant is Ellen Fala. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, NAFA, is commanded by Inspector J. Fode Kalon. The first sergeant is Ezekiel S. Tamba, and the flag bearer is Catherine Myers. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh City Police is commanded by Nathan F. Manaye. The first sergeant is Joseph Jigboa, and the flag bearer is Zizito S. Swen. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, the Liberia Squad Association is commanded by Commissioner Kramer Lockheed. The sergeant majors Marvin F. Lee, and the flag bearer is Joseph M. Bear. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, those are Liberian kids that are dressed in military attire, portraying the fact that they will be prospective military personnel. At this time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Armed Forces of Liberia is in exhibition of its equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reflect your mind on the Liberian Frontier Force. When the force was founded, we have very small, minute elements of the armed forces of Liberia in that force. But nevertheless, the minute elements of the armed forces of Liberia toppled, I repeat, toppled Major Cadal, and today Liberia is free as an independent nation from foreign forces. So it's not how much, it's not about the sophistications, but it's about the ability of the man on the ground willing to die for this country, Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, the armed forces of Liberia equipment display is followed by the Liberian National Fire Service equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's parade ceremony. Please remain in the stand until the official party departs. On behalf of the President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Boakai Sr., the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine Jenner George, retired, and the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Davison F. Fuller, thanks for attending the parade ceremony marking the 68th Armed Forces Day celebration. I am Major El Dorado Nyanti Jebo, Acting Chief of Public Affairs and the Master of Ceremony for this 68th Armed Forces Day celebration.
I am